using GoToMeeting?
Yeah, I use it a lot.
Yeah, that's for future reference. Just look into it. It's much more secure. Instead of Zoom, we heard that there are some people are playing some games and hacking into it. But
No, Zoom, they've actually Zoom has fixed those security vulnerabilities.
Okay.
So I use GoToTraining, GoToMeeting, Zoom, and Microsoft Teams and Skype. I use actually 5 different platforms.
Yeah.
And we find Zoom to be the best because it's most
convenient.
common amongst people. You don't have to have an account or anything. You can just click on a link.
Yes.
And you can join Zoom. So for those reasons, we do
perfect.
that.
Is there a reason why? Do you see us or not?
No,
we don't see you.
Well, that's the problem. I think Dr. Sufi was talking about. I'm not sure why it's not working. Let me hang up and try again. Okay.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
So go on the top and there's a thing called stop video and touch that. And that will give you the video capability.
We're good. We're good.
So touch on the top and there's a stop video, just touch that. And there's a mute and touch that, that will unmute you. And then you should be able to speak.
Okay, we're good.
We are not yet tech savvy yet.
That's all right.
That's all right. With our age, we slowly learn it.
Any age you can learn.
That's right.
Still learning. It's a matter of time. We just started.
Learning, there is no age limit.
There's no age limit, and the computer is very easy. You just by touch. You can learn by touch.
Yeah, just don't tell your age to the computer.
All right, can we start now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, should we all mute?
You want us to mute it?
Yes, please mute it and open it only when there is a question answer. Please.
Okay. Can you?
All right.
Can you see my screen?
Where is that?
Yes,
No,
yes, I can.
But if you're sharing your screen, we can't see your screen right now.
Right.
Now we can see it, yes.
Now we can see it. Just
You are viewing Yasir's screen. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let me first of all welcome and thank you all of you joining us in this program. I am Zafar Mirza from MCC Senior Committee. Before we start the program formally, I would ask Brother Arif to recite from Holy Quran. Brother Arif.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يوصيكم الله في أولادكم للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين فإن كن نساء فوق 2 فلهن ثلثا ما ترك وإن كانت واحدة فلها النصف ولأبويه لكل واحد منهما السدس مما ترك إن كان له ولد فإن لم يكن له ولد وورثه أبواه فلأمه الثلث فإن كان له إخوة فلأمه السدس من بعد وصية يوصي بها أو دين آباؤكم وأبناؤكم لا تدرون أيهم أقرب لكم نفعا فريضة من الله إن الله كان عليما حكيما صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you, Brother Arif. And before I go into the details of today's program, let me explain a few logistical points. And as we talked earlier, please everyone mute yourself and only unmute when the question answer starts after the presentation. Uh, Today's program, as all of you know, the topic is Islamic wills and trust. And all of you have worked very hard to establish a career and a home, to send your children to school and to plan for retirement, planning for your loved ones, and leaving a legacy to the causes that matters most to you and can be equally as important. Many people have misconceptions about some of the basic facts of retirement. Unfortunately, these misunderstandings can lead to the difference between a retirement you want and the retirement you settled for. For the personal financial planning and advice to help you retire comfortably when that time comes. It is for sure that education is key in the retirement planning journey, which is why the MCC Senior Committee has scheduled today's program, which is Islamic Wills and Trust. And as you all know, today's speaker is Brother Yasir Zia. And I'm not going to take much time because he's going to talk about it, but very quickly, since 2007, Islamic Wills Trust has been helping with estate planning, college planning, financial consultation, and retirement planning for our clients, especially the Muslims. Brother Zia specializes in helping clients enrich and protect their lifestyle. Islamic Wills Trust is supported by a team of professionals with many years of combined experience in financial and retirement services, estate planning, annuities, charitable giving, business insurance, executive compensation, employee benefits, life insurance, and college planning. It's on and on and on. But, so now I have to hand it over to Brother Yasir. The mic is yours.
Jazakallah khair, Mirza Sahab. Thank you very much, and mashallah, beautiful Kira brother Arif. And mashallah, this is one of the toughest ayah in Quran. So to recite, and you did a beautiful job on reciting that. I really appreciate and everybody's time and welcome everybody to discussion. I'm just going to give a brief that why I came into financial services and what is the main purpose of this and why it's a passion for me. I live in Annapolis, and in 2005, my father had a sudden brain hemorrhage and passed away in Annapolis at the age of 45. And at the age, I was at 22 years old. So I went into local, trying to survive as well as taking care of my family. In 2007, one of his other friends died with sudden heart attack. So when I evaluate our community, especially the Pakistani community, that we are very low on financial planning and retirement planning or any other assets. Our main concern, or whenever we think about anything, is it's just Allah will take care of it. But also the devastation I seen firsthand on my family as well as some other families, but passing of one loved one person is a devastation here as well as back home in the whole Pakistan country. So I took a mission that I need to get into a field that we can educate our community, we can help them, we can protect their lifestyle here as well as back home. So I start in a financial services in 2007. And ever since that, it's my passion to educate and help and protect the family for majority of Muslim ones. And after a while that our Muslim clients, they start asking questions that we acquire our wealth halal way. We want to leave it to our beneficiaries according to Islam instead of leaving it according to the state laws. So I talked to a couple of attorneys and as well as a couple of financial planning experts, and we researched over 2 years to combine the Islamic law as well as American law without coming up to a scenario that, if you have an Islamophobic judge or anybody that discontinue or does not believe in Sharia law or Islamic law of inheritance. So after 2 years, we came into a conclusion, and we came into a process that in Quran, Allah says that you should have a beneficiary, benefits according, a distribution according to Quran, and it need to be witnessed, it need to be written. But in American law, it requires that it has to follow local, county, state, and federal law. It has to be written, it has to be notarized and witnesses. But in American law, you can give anything to anybody instead of, specifically. So we combine both distribution system of Islamic law with the writing style and requirement of American law, so it does not conflict in anywhere. So that being said, that's basic introduction on why we started doing Islamic state planning and why we start doing financial services. Main thing on Islamic wills, the importance of Islamic estate planning wills in Quran and Sunnah, it's I think it's more important than a lot of others, ibadah and a lot of other things we do. It is one of the forgotten farida that we have numerous times in Quran as well as Sunnah. Brother Arib recite Ayah 11 in Surah Nisa, and in that Allah prescribes all the shares. And after Surah Ayah 13 and 14 talks about doing a distribution according to Islamic law, what is the benefit and what is the consequences. In Quran and Islamic life, one of the most important things we do is pray 5 times a day. In Quran, there's never written that how to pray, how to perform, when to pray, how many rakats, and how many sujoos to do. We have to follow that. We have to learn that according to Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But this distribution, this warasa, this is the state planning. Allah described to the fraction for every single inheritant and every single beneficiary in Quran in very detail. One simple example is that if a person have a 85-year-old father and only 5-year-old son, he will tend to leave everything to his son instead of his father, that his father has already lived his life. But in Quran, Allah says, you do not know who is more benefit to you. So Allah have a share for every single relative that is connected with you. So those is such a beautiful topic, and I really enjoyed talking about it and trying to help our clients go through this system, because it protects their future, it protects their asset, it protects their family from all the issues and all the problems, as well as distribution according to the law of Quran and law of Allah's commandment. So I'm just going to start with a few slides. We're going to talk briefly on this topic, and then we're going to also talk about some other problems facing seniors, like income for life or long-term care, what are the benefits or what are the requirements, as well as retirement. So this is a legal disclaimer, just to show I'm not an attorney, I'm a financial planner. And everything, this is an information-based seminar. If you have any personal questions that regarding your personal life, you have my number. I will show it on my screen. Just call me directly. We will not like to share your personal. You're gonna have a general questions, but individual questions I would love to answer one by one.
Good.
Forgotten word as far in Sunnah. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that learn inheritance and teach to others. It is the first knowledge will be forgotten and will be the first knowledge will be taken away from my ummah. And now we see that we are focused on everything, but when we talk about state planning, people are scared that we are talking about death. But this is one thing that one of the slides will say in the future, that humans are such a bad planners, they will plan for everything but the death. Learn inheritance and teach it to other people. Knowledge will be decreased until two people will differ among themselves and over themselves and inheritance. and but would not find an arbitrator. This is Surah Nisa. And basic agenda for today is what is state planning, who needs a state plan, what makes it Islamic, components of estate planning, and question answers. I will try to go through as fast as possible so we can have more time for question answers instead of going through all the slides. What is estate? Estate is all your assets, your house, your business, your car, your investment, your banking, checking, saving account, your life insurance, your jewelry, and any valuables that you have, any collectibles that you own. What is the goal of estate planning? Basic goal of estate planning is control your property when you live and distribute according to your wish and according to the sunnah and the commandment of Allah, distributed according with it to your family. And plus good state planning in the earthly benefit as for living in the United States is that if you do state planning properly, you can save a lot of tax payments on your inheritance as well as estate tax. You can save, and plus you can save a huge amount of probate fees and a lot of other legal fees. So in Quran, Surah Baqarah, ayah 180, Allah says that it is ordained to you when death approaches any of you and he is leaving wealth, that makes a fair testament in favor of his parents and near relative, a duty upon those who have a taqwa. Then Surah Nisa, there's a share for men and share for women for what is left by parents and those nearest relative, whether a property is a small or large share. And in a hadith narrated by Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it is not permissible for any Muslim who has something to will to stay 2 nights without having a last will and testament written and kept ready with him. This is very, very important hadith. Second one, just listen to, this is also very important hadith. And what a great glad tidings on this hadith. Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, said, a man may do a good deed for 70 years, but if he acts unjustly when he leaves his last testament, and the wickedness of his deed will be sealed upon him, and he will enter into the fire. If on the other hand, a man acts wickedly for 70 years, but he is just on his last will and testament, the goodness of his deed will be sealed upon him, and he will be entered into the garden of paradise. So if you simplify this hadith, that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is giving a glad tidings to the ummah for until the day of judgment, that if you act according to Quran and just distributing your wealth to your family the way Allah prescribed, Allah promise you, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam promise you a Jannah. And if you go against it, there's a punishment with a hellfire. Introduction to Islamic inheritance. So what are the distribution? Number 1 is your funeral and burial expenses, payment of debt. If you own any debt, that should be actually first, because there's a time that Prophet Muhammad refused to do janazah for a person who have any debt on him. So that should be wasiya. Wasiya, we have a small misunderstanding. We think that wasiya is your total state planning, but wasiya is only 1/3 of your total property that you have your discretionary funds. That's you can give away up to 1/3. You cannot give away more than that. Everything else goes to your beneficiary. The Sharia distribution, and this is Surah Nisa verses 11 that brother already did a beautiful qira. It basically, on the starting, it says, Allah instructs you concerning your children's. So this is an order from Yusikumullah fi auladikum. Allah order you to do this in Surah Nisa, and then all the distribution goes. Ayah 11 and 12 talks about distribution. Ayat 13 says, Tilka hududullah min yutiullah wa rasulullah yudhilhum jannatin tajri min tahtiha al-anhar khalidina fiha zalikal fawzul azim. There are limits set by Allah, and whoever obey Allah and His Messenger will be admitted by Him in garden in paradise, under which rivers flow, abiding eternally therein, and that is the great attainment. So, if we think of this ayah and just look at it, that we are not doing anything that extraordinary. We are just distributing our wealth, and we are putting our wishes, and we are distributing to our children, to our family, and Allah is promising us to the heaven. Ayah 14 talks about the punishment. Whoever disobey Allah and His Messenger and transgresses His limit, He will put him into the fire to abide eternally therein, and he will have a humiliating punishment. Okay, so whoever tries to avoid, this is one of the issue we have in, especially in Pakistan or a lot of other countries, that if there's a kid that does not obey their father or parents, they try to disinherit their kids. This is totally unacceptable in Islam. They cannot disinherit any of their children, even though they can do any wrong thing or disobey their parents. Whoever, this is in Ibn Majah, whoever tries to avoid giving inheritance to his hire, Allah will deprive him from his inheritance in paradise on the day of resurrection. Okay, so as for the minimum documents required for the, what are the documents for the basic and estate planning? So last will and testament, a durable power of attorney, advanced healthcare directive, living trust, most cases. Will must be in American law, it must be minimum requirement 18 in most states to be writing capacity. The tester must be sound mind and free will to understand his signing. Writing must be written to be valid. Holographic will is that handwritten will. Some state proves it, some state don't. Opening statement, declaration of will and last testament, revocations of previous will. At least one beneficiary. Pros and cons. So few things, one of the best pro for the living will, if you have children, especially under 18, children are the most important assets and everybody have, and we want them to grow, and we want to be, them to follow Islam and be a Muslim. So in will, you can have a guardianship for your children. You describe who can take care of your children in case anything happened to you, instead of putting them into the foster system and state takes care of them. So name a guardianship for your minor kids. Naming a personal representative for your state, which is executor, whose job is to distribute your asset according to your wishes to your beneficiaries. And if you don't decide in your will, then a court appoints one and they charge up to 10% of your total assets on distributions. Dictate who gets separate probate assets. In the cons on having just a will is minimum tax planning, must go through probate process, does not control any jointly owned assets, like if husband and wife owns the house, so that goes on a beneficiary designation. Conflict with the state. So few things, if we don't have Islamic, for example, we have some clients that they have a wife from a Christianity or some other early faith. So the wife does not receive anything. The maximum they can give is 1/3 to them. No Muslim children or parents can inherit from them. No Muslim, non-Muslim parents. Adopted children cannot inherit. In-law cannot inherit. All the stepchildren cannot inherit. And any children born of wedlock. Convicted murder of tester. So anybody who kills their tester or grantor cannot inherit from them. That's what we was talking about debt. Prophet Muhammad SAW would not offer a funeral prayer for person in debt. So that's why I say debt is most important to pay in Islam. There's a saying that Shaheed is forgiven everything but the debt. Debt to Allah is zakat and all the kafara and any other miswarm or kafara or unpaid zakat and any other thing that you have to do. Also, we do donation amount pledges in masjid. That's also a debt upon you that you have to pay. Credit cards, and everybody else that you know knows that all the other debt that we own. Life insurance is very, very complicated issue. Some people like it, some people don't. But my point of view, it is the only process, only thing that pays off all your debt upon your death. And second thing is you don't own it until you die. So once you died, life insurance proceeding comes in after your death. So it is not in your inheritance. Documents required for basic estate planning, last will, advanced medical directive, durable power of attorney. I talk about briefly on will and testament. Advanced medical directive is a document that describe all your medical issues, all your burial proceeding. If you want to be buried in United States, if you want to be buried in Pakistan or any other country, you leave a detailed explanation for your family so they are okay and they know what to do. Plus you choose an agent that handles your medical wishes. Plus, if you want to have an autopsy or you want to opt out, what kind of medical treatment you want to have, and what kind of, if you want to do organ donations or not, which is also another complicated issue in Islam, that everything goes into advanced medical directive. It is very, very important. Some people just, and second thing, some people just download the will template or something and they have a combined will and advanced medical directive. Our point of view is not good because if you are in a hospital, you do not want to show your assets and your personal things to your doctors and nurses and everybody who's there. So it's better to keep both of them separate. Durable power of attorney. Basically, you're duplicating your powers to anybody that you want. The benefit of this is that if you are in a medical scenario or if you are stuck out of country or any other issues, you have somebody who can take care of your financials for you when you give them durable power of attorney. Probate process. So probate is a process, in simple word, it's a legal process to validate a will and determine the ownership of property. It allows the transfer of wealth from when the testator dies. So basic, in simple word, probate is a process that transfer wealth upon death from a dead to alive. In state of Maryland, probate is anywhere from 6 to 10% of your total assets. So if you own $1 million of assets, it could be anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000 cost just to do a probate process. And plus, it is a lengthy process, it takes time, and it's a stressful process for your family. Documents of living trust. So the best way to avoid probate is having a revocable living trust. Benefit of having a revocable trust, number one, that if you have a children under 18, you can set sub-trust for them and they can have all their property taken care of and controlled and nobody can access to those and not stealing. Revocable, you can revoke anytime. You become a manager instead of your ownership. So if you own a house with your wife, then you transfer into the trust, then you become a trustee, she becomes a second trustee. It will avoid probate process. There's because trust by itself is a living entity. It is living revocable until you are alive. Upon death, it becomes irrevocable. Without a will, basically, state distribute the wealth. They controls everything, probate and all the concept, and you have to pay maximum tax amount. Living in America, basically, these are the documents that, you know, if you don't have a will, then the state will distribute according to the state law. Islamic inheritance system is violated. Probate court proceeding, timely consuming, fees costs without, okay. No trust, basically same. It goes through, you will have to pay a higher state taxes, inheritance taxes, and you don't have any opportunity to charitables. What is, we went through, we gave a small briefing on trust. So, okay, so that is a basic fast information about Islamic state planning. Now, also, I'm going to talk about a few other issues. Number one is long-term care for seniors. Long-term care is very, very important, and it's going to be more important. And every single statement you get from your Social Security, they tell you that you should look into long-term care. A reason for that is the cost of medical is going up, and it is hard, and Social Security is decreasing. So if you own a long-term care, you can have a nurse come to your home. You can go into the assisted living, and they can pay for all your, it's basically having just like a life insurance or your health insurance, but it pays for your long-term care, your medical, your scenarios, and it protects your assets from depleting. You don't have to pull money from your accounts. You don't have to sell your assets to pay for your long-term care. There's few ways to do it. You can have a standalone policy. You can have a combined policy with a life insurance. You can have a policy with annuity that pays for long-term care expenses. Second, disability income is not, majority of them already retired. So life insurance, long-term care, annuities. There are annuities. I'm working with one of my clients in Silver Spring, and there's a company called FNG. Their annuity, when you establish, it's a lifetime income. So basically, if you roll over your 401k or any other assets that you own, and they promise you, they guarantee you income for life. And in case you becomes in a long, if you have any terminal or long-term care scenarios, then basically your payment doubles. Whatever, for example, if your payment is $40,000 per year, with the medical scenario or with terminal illness, it will double to $80,000 a year. And that's the income that you can't outlive. Is for your life. Other than that, majority of I think participants are in retirement or pre-retirement age. So my phone number is this. This is my cell phone number, 410-903-1396. That's you can call anytime. We also have a 800 number, which is 855-955-4557. So, but you can call me on my cell phone anytime. I think Mirza Saab, I ran as fast as possible, but we can open for questions, so we can have more questions on it.
Thank you very much, Yasir. It was a wonderful and a lot of knowledge to grasp with, because we take things like that very, not very seriously.
Yeah.
But as we get closer, then I think it is incumbent upon all of us that we should. Okay, now it is open for the questions. So please.
I have a question.
Yes, sister.
Yes, everybody who calls for the questions, please say your name first. I know you're Salma.
Yes, Salma Musa. Okay, my question is, like, for us that we had a long life insurance for a long time.
Yes.
I wanted to know what is the difference between life insurance that we have and the halal life insurance?
Sister, there's no halal and haram life insurance. And basically, there's a concept when you choose insurance. One of the company, my study shows that if you look into mutual company, that is more, the contracts is more closer to Islam. It's not Islamic, but the concept is more closer because in Islam, when you invest your assets into anything, you should have chance of loss or gain. So mutual companies, mutual insurance companies, what they do when you invest, when you buy insurance, you are a part owner, you have ownership into their assets. So if they are profitable, they give you profit in form of dividends. And if they have a loss, then you face loss. That is closest to Islamic, according to this book called, can you see me, or you guys are still seeing
Yeah,
me?
I can see, yes.
This is a book, A Muslim Guide for Investment and Personal Finance. So according to this, it says that Islamic mutual insurance company is much more closer to Islamic law than a stock-based company.
Okay, I have another question is on with the long-term care, if we have the life insurance, can we add it on now, or how can we find out if it covers or not?
Take my number. You can call me, or you can give me your number, and
Okay.
I can call you, and we can go over. We can look at your life insurance and figure out
Sure.
what kind of policy you have. You cannot add on to long-term care, but sometimes there's an offer that you can replace with one policy that have long-term care.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You got my number?
Yeah, I have your number, 410-903-1306.
Yes, that's my cell phone number. You can give me a call.
Yeah, and also we're very interested in the trust. So
Inshallah.
we'll call you, inshallah. We'll call you.
Inshallah, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Any other questions?
Do you have any question?
Hello, anybody else?
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Sadiq sir.
Okay. My question is, I have various questions. You mentioned that if a person is in debt,
Yes.
no funeral is allowed.
No, I did not say that. I said that, let me rephrase that. There was a time that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was going through a funeral, and one of the Sahabi passed away, and they asked Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that, can you perform the janazah? They said, the first question they asked, does he have any debt on him? So they say that he does. They say, I will not perform the janazah until you pay the debt.
Okay.
Yes.
What happened, and I saw here in the United States, when somebody's janazah is being prayed, they stand up and say, if anybody thinks that this person owes you anything, his dependents will pay the debt.
Yes.
It means they're not going to write the check before the janazah prayer.
No,
They
definitely.
are going to pay.
They're
They make
taking
a promise that we
So
will
somebody,
pay.
I did that too on my father's funeral in ISB in Baltimore. That I made an announcement that, if my father owned anything to anybody,
Yes.
I am the responsible person for that, and please contact me now. So whatever my father owed to you, I will take the full responsibility and pay for them.
So it's
Yes.
the same thing as the debt is paid.
Yes. So basically, then the person who's a living takes the full responsibility that he will pay the shares and he will pay the debt.
When the beneficiary of a will
Yes.
receive the money or whatever property or whatever they get, does American law, under American law, are they taxed?
Depends on two things. Number one, whatever your wife gets, there's a state tax exemption. For, I think federally is $5.4 million. That whatever she gets under that, there's no taxations on it. And other beneficiary, your children, if you distribute the property right away, then they will pay taxes on it. Now your wife, your secondary beneficiary, your children and other relatives.
Interesting. Then there is, let's say you have a 401k,
Yes.
which is taxes are not paid on it. I didn't pay them.
Yes.
So when they get transferred, so they are taxed based on the law.
Yes. Basically 401k is considered when they receive the income, when they receive money, it considers them that they receive income. So for example, if they receive, if your children receive $100,000 from your 401k, so they have to report that money to their taxes that, yeah, I received 401k distribution from my father for $100,000. So which IRS will calculate on their taxes and they have to pay on those taxes.
Are those taxes lower on inheritance or more, or how it works?
It depends on everybody's scenario. For example, some are higher, some are lower, but depending on everybody's personal situations. We can look into your situation, whatever, one-on-one, and we can figure out a best possible plan and, show you what is the best route of action to take.
Okay, one last comment and question. If a person does not have a will,
Yes.
you said the state can take it over. Even if your spouse is alive, your children are around, they cannot take over, can
no,
they?
State distribution law. So everything is distributed according to the state. I did not say the state will take over. I said the state will distribute according to the law of state. So if you do not have a will, your wife will have to go and go to the probate system, go to the court, give the certifications, tell them everything. All right, this is, she have to prove that she's your wife. Your children have to prove that they are your children and take that death certificate, everything. Once everything is proven in the court system, then the distribution happen according to the state law.
No, but there is another thing. Let's 401k, for example. I'm just making an example. In there, when you have the 401k with a company XYZ, you do tell the company that my 401k, these people are my beneficiaries.
Yes.
Does it consider it as a will because that company is then obligated to distribute amongst those people according to my will?
No, that's a beneficiary designation. So your 401k, your life insurance, these are two things: are your retirement or pension, plus your social security. So they go on a beneficiary designation. So whatever you gave them the percentage, or if your wife and your children, they will distribute according to their that's the requirement or your beneficiary list. But you have other assets, your bank account.
No, I'm talking of 401k. Does the state still come back after me? Because
no,
that's already designated.
No. 401k distributed to your beneficiary according to your, the percentage you put it in there.
Correct. So state doesn't bother then.
No, state does not bother on that because when they receive the income from your 401k, they have to report it to the tax, income tax.
Correct.
But state doesn't have to do anything because it's already distributed on your beneficiary designation.
Correct. Yes. So it is not considered that I did not authorize any distribution.
No. That's totally
it's considered
separate.
a pseudo will.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'm done with someone else.
Thank you, Brother Siddiq. Thank you. Excuse me, Arif, are you there? Arif Qasim, are you there?
Hello. Yes, I am here.
Okay, Arif, I see the message from Dr. Sufi. He's not cannot hear anything. Could you do something to help him?
Oh, that's Dr. Yeah, the problem. I'll let him know. The challenge with that then maybe be on his end there. It's his audio. So what you want to do, Dr. If you want to maybe go to audio and test your take a look at what your audio options are. You want to make sure it's, if you have a microphone added, you want to make sure that's what it is. But you can click test speaker or microphone, and if that becomes a problem for you,
401k
you can
or your estate.
sorry.
All right. No, somebody is speaking in the middle.
Gotcha.
All right.
Also, I think Brother Reeb gonna give a have a recording, so they can send them a recording with the phone number.
That will help.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So they can listen to it as well. Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, Karen.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. I can see you. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
please.
Yes, sir. Go ahead with the question.
Zafar Saab, this is Sayyid Hussain. Could I ask the
Yes,
question?
please.
Okay. If somebody already has a trust and a will, how often he has to revise that will and trust legally? Is there a limit? And every 5 years you have to revise it?
Sir, there's no limit to revise whenever basic law is that if everything is up to date, for example, for your will, if you live in the same house or same county, as well as your beneficiaries are same, and if your will is generalized or itemized. Another thing, itemized mean that if you, for example, put a Bank of America with $100,000, and right now it's $150,000 or $50,000, it's not the exact amount you put in there, then you need to update. And we actually suggest our clients to have a generalized, because it will give them longer longevity. They don't have to update more often, because it will say, for example, Yasser Zia, entire wealth or entire assets of Yasser Zia and are subject to the will. So whatever I own, bank account, cars, or anything what I own, any amount is subject to the distribution system instead of just itemizing it.
Okay, the 401 question that Siddiqui Saab had, the same subject I want to ask you.
Yes.
If the trust you already have, and in that trust, the 401 is already in there in the trust.
Yes.
Then the distribution is done according to what? According to the trust or according to the 401?
Okay, let me ask you one question on that. Does your trust is a beneficiary of your 401k or is a owner of your 401k?
It's a beneficiary.
The beneficiary.
Beneficiary. Secondary, did you already update your 401k beneficiary that it shows that your trust is a beneficiary on your 401k or not?
Yes, we have updated. Yes.
Okay, so if everything is updated, then the benefit will goes to your trust bank, and then distribute according to your distribution system in your trust.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Can I ask?
Karen Bashir, you were about to ask a question.
Can I ask a question?
Sister
Hello?
Karen.
Bashir Saab, I think you are talking, but you are muted. You need to unmute before you can say.
All right. Anybody else has a
Can
question?
you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I have a question. Has there been any legal question that some female person who has the distribution done by Islamic way, and then she has taken the court that it's against the law or not?
So, so far we haven't come to that scenario. Basically, our goal is to distribute, and when we have, distribution according to Islam, if there's a female, they already consent with them, or they sign a non-contest clause. This is a document that every family member sign that they accept the will distribution, what you put it in. So if you gave your daughter, 1 share and your son 2 shares, and they agree that this is according to Islamic law, and they have to follow the law. They will sign the document, the non-contest clause, that they will not go against this will in court to sue you.
My follow-up question is, just one little question. If you have your assets less than $5 million, do you still need any estate planning?
Absolutely, because if you have estate planning properly, then you reduce the complications and the stress time on your family, as well as if you even you have $1 million, that's still a large amount of asset that you need to distribute according to your wishes and according to commandment of Allah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, this is Salma Musa again. The question is about the Islamic will, and you mentioned that a wife from different faith can get 1/3 of the. Is that a wasiyah considered or just inheritance?
So inheritance law, wife of a different faith cannot inherit from the regular beneficiary. But the grantor, the person who owns the asset, or husband, can give her maximum of 1/3. That his discretionary.
That's the wasiyah.
Yeah,
that's considered wasiyah.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
And not just wife, any children who renounce Islam, they also cannot inherit from the assets.
Mm-hmm. Any question?
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other
Hello,
question?
can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can hear
Hello?
you, sir. Yes.
Hello, go ahead. Sufi Saab?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah,
I have
sure.
a question.
Yes.
The question is that is there any exception to the Quranic law or any hadith that if one's daughter is really having tough time, like divorced or financially not strong or anything of that sort, can the will can be or the it can be changed to equal share with the son or not?
So there's another way to do that. The will is considered whatever you own at the time of death. So in your lifetime, whatever you give a gift to anybody, that's not considered in there. And you want to be fair in your gift, giving a gift, but there's that way. Also, there's another way that, for example, she owns a life insurance. You can buy a life insurance on yourself, and she's the owner, which you don't have any rights, and upon anything, if anything happened to you, that's American way. One of the way to accelerate asset. So, for example, anything happened to you, she receives the benefit, and she's the owner of it. But in your lifetime, whatever gift you give to your daughter, that's considered a gift. It will not be in your will at that time. So I gave you Islamic way as well as American way to bypass that. So
Zafar, I have one question, follow up on that. Can I?
yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
My question is, during anybody's lifetime, you can unevenly give money to any children that you like. You say you want to give more money to the daughter, you want to give more money to the son.
Sir, in your life.
Let me finish it.
Yes, go ahead.
So during the lifetime, there's a little bit of an unbalance from Islamic point of view. That's the women get less and the men get more. Can that be compensated through in the lifetime giving money more to the female, and that compensates when the final day comes and then you have to distribute it like according to the Islamic laws?
So in your lifetime, basically, the system is already, even if it's Islamic or non-Islamic, the system is already kind of unfair. You already do unfair practice, because if your son is one child is 30 years old and one is 5 years old, you already spend a lot more asset on the kid who's 30 years old than the one who's 5 years old. So that's one concept. So in your lifetime, when you give anything to your children, it's considered a gift. You can give them whatever you want, whomever you want. But upon your death, when if you want to distribute your asset according to Islamic law, then, for example, if you own $1 million, your children, will distribute into them if you want to distribute according to Islamic law. So they should follow that.
So I really didn't understand that.
So in your lifetime, you can give a gift to anybody that you want.
Okay, so that we can, as a Muslim man, we can compensate this way, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because as I say that it's already, unfair in your family, because if there's two children, one older, one younger, you already give the older lot more benefit from your asset than the younger one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. I think you answered my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question?
I have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
If you give a property like your house, which is already paid, to your daughter, how the tax will be on it?
So there's a two way to do that. Number one, are you just gifting her? Are you just giving her, or?
I'm just going to gift her the
gift
house.
Her. Okay, gift her. So it is still, she have to receive as a gift, she have to follow the gift tax of state requirements. Second way to do that is that if you transfer the house under a trust, and then she's a trustee. So then she actually inherits the house without having the complications of the taxation.
But that will not be Islamic then.
No, I mean, like you have other children as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so are you?
Here I give you a real scenario.
Okay.
This is, you have two children. One went to medical school, and the other one didn't go to medical school.
Okay.
The one who went to medical school makes a lot more money. The one who didn't go to medical school does not. Now I am happy to be the parent of that scenario. Obviously, if I do it Islamic way, she only gets 1/3 and he gets 2/3. But the guy who gets 2/3 is far more richer than the girl who gets 1/3.
Yes.
So if I do 50-50, that will be non-Islamic.
Yes.
So what is the best option I have?
So the best option you have is you can, as I say on the earlier, there's two ways. Non-Islamic way, if that scenario comes up in a financial consulting or financial planning, that if, for example, somebody have a business and one son is taking over the business, and the other son says, I don't want the business, but I want the same amount of assets. So you can buy a life insurance to take care of that. You just, whatever scenario, whatever assets that you want to multiply, that's the least cost effective, because if you buy a term, a smaller amount can pay a larger death benefit on you. Islamic point of view, in your lifetime, regardless, you're gonna have a couple issues. Are you there, sir? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So couple scenarios gonna be happening. No matter what you do, you're gonna have issues in that scenario. If you gave her house, your son will say that, why did you give her? I want the same thing. So you have to literally, if you follow Islamic law, you have an issue. If you don't, then still you can distribute according to your wishes, 50-50, but it will not consider as a Islamic law on that.
Correct, and I may be punished.
No, but the issue is there's an also second scenario on this one as well, that once you distribute, if, for example, if you don't distribute anything, right? If anything happened to you without distributing or without setting up state planning, then what will happen? There will be a chaos, there will be a fight, there will be an issue in your family. They will have a lot more problem than even disclosing and giving them 50-50. It's up to you. So we have.
I'm in a difficult situation. Either way, I have to decide.
Yes.
Actually, I decided. And
Yes.
I told them that my will will say 50-50.
Yes. We do
Now,
have.
obviously, after hearing your talk, I may be punished, but that's the position I will take. Well,
That's the risk you have to take.
Well, we do have some other clients as well. Matter of fact, I have one meeting with another client who want to do the same thing. So my job as a information, whatever information is there in Quran and Islamic point of view, I have to explain that.
I agree with you. You did a good job. It's up to me to make a decision which way I want to go.
Yeah. So then it's but another way, it's still better to do a proper planning and distribute, proper state, according to whatever you wish, instead of leaving without a plan.
No, I do not plan to leave unsettled things. I'd like to settle it.
That's
still
good. Better. Yes.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Yes, sir. Siddiqui sir.
All right. Any other questions?
Yes, Siddiqui sir, I have a question.
I have a question. Can I give somebody in my family, like brothers and sisters, something as a gift, even in my will? Can I write a gift for them?
Sir, in your will, if you want to, I don't know your personal situation. How many children do you have, Mashallah?
I have 2 children.
Both son and daughter?
Both are well established. If I don't give them a penny, they'll be fine.
Yes. Okay, so up to 1/3 of your assets, you can give a gift to anybody you want.
Okay. In the family.
In the family or without
Anybody.
the family.
Okay.
Anybody.
Okay.
You can do a sadqa jariyah. You can give it to the Islamic Center, MCC or
MCC.
anybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's actually another thing that we as a Muslim should think of it. In Christianity and Judaism, they put 10% of their assets to their synagogue or the church. But we, even though we are told that sadqa jariyah, you should have a sadqa jariyah in our state, we don't, focus on that as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So up till 1/3, you can give it to your brother, sister, anybody that you want.
Yasir Saab, could you repeat your phone number one more time slowly?
Sure, sir. 410
Right on the screen.
903 1396.
All right, Brother Yasir, I need a clarification for something.
Sure.
When you make a will or trust, do you have to specify your assets, that it is the 401k and this is the retirement account and this and that? Or you can simply say all my assets. That's it. That includes everything at the time of your death.
Sir, you combine two things. Will and trust. Okay, so it's two different things with both of them. Will, you can say whatever you own at the time of death is distributed according to your wishes. But in trust, until you transfer those assets into the trust, they will not avoid probate. So if you have 401k, if you have a bank account, if you have a property, they need to be written in a trust. They need to be specified. They don't need to be, for example, a bank account does not need to be specified that how much money you have there, but it has to have the bank account need to be transferred into the trust ownership. Your 401k also, there has to be, the beneficiary need to be changed. You don't need to put the amount there, but you need to put the 401k's broker name, your company, your account number into the trust in order to avoid probate.
No, basically it is the same. I mean, you are talking, instead of verifying 1, 2, 3, 4, you're just saying whatever at the time of my death, whatever my assets are.
On your will. Last will. Yeah, two different things. Will is separate, trust is separate. So in a will, you can say whatever you own is subject to your distribution beneficiary. But when you write a living revocable trust to avoid probate, then you have to list and transfer all your assets to the trust in order to receive appropriate benefits. And another thing on top of the trust is much more secure. Its control is not public. Literally, you know what you put into a trust, and you protect your assets by putting into the trust. So for example, if for example we come to intersection and we have an accident or something, and we go search your name into Conti database, we know that Mr. Zafar owns these many houses, he owns these many assets and stuff. So by transferring your asset into trust, you are protecting and hiding your assets. And then definitely you need to put every single thing. You need to have a benefit. You need to have, beneficiary. Your trust need to be beneficiary of your 401k and your life insurance if you want to avoid probate. If you don't want to avoid probate process, then definitely go ahead and just put in a will that whatever I own is subject to my distribution.
One more questions I have, sir. If you have already made the trust,
Yes,
and there is no need for the will,
sir. When you have a trust, then the will become a pour over will. You do need to have a will because, for example, is your cars, everything's in the trust?
cars are not.
Okay, so cars are under your name, right?
Yes.
So what will happen to the cars and the other valuable that is not in the trust? Then they still have to go to the court. Then they still have to prove that everything is under your name, and they have to follow the probate process. So the will, when you have a trust, then you add a pour over will. The only thing it says on the pour over will, whatever assets I own will be transferred to the ABC Living Revocable Trust upon my death. So it pours into your trust. When it goes to the court, yeah, the court, the judge will say, all right, this is a trust. What about the other asset? Then they say the will, all right, this will is already notarized and everything is taken care of. And it shows whatever other assets I have is pouring into the trust. Technically, when you create the trust, you cannot transfer every single asset into it. For example, your cars, every time you transfer, you have to pay the taxations on your car again. It consider a sale. So having a pour over will bypass that process.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other questions? Please. Okay. So no question. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Sir. Really appreciate everybody.
We'll let you know for the next program, inshallah.
No worries. We can do, if you want to do a specific, specialize on long-term care or retirement planning, focus completely on those, we can handle those as well. But inshallah, if anybody have any concern, any questions, please feel free to give me a call. Cell phone again, 410-903-1396. They can give me a call anytime they want.
Inshallah.
Jazakallah
All right.
Thank you. Really appreciate your help.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
You're welcome.
We'll talk to you soon.
Really appreciate it.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.